and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. The love is right, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. You thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. But lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your words, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, oh you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
Get a fast drink.
Yeah.
Why can't you do it?
Pajamas. Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here from Black Flag Racing TV. It's Sunday night, which means it's time for the WSR Porsche Super Cup, and we are with the Academy Group yet again for round number 3. Qualifying will be starting in just a couple of minutes. It's a 10-minute qualification session, followed by a 16-lap feature race. Following that will be an 8-lap sprint, which is set from the top 10 of the feature race. Looking forward to, hopefully, a bit less carnage this time out. While we wait for qualifying to begin and everyone to get checked in, I think we're probably expecting 9 or 10 in the lobby this evening. Let's have a look at how the standings look after the first couple of weeks. So this is how we stand after week number 2. Kodra leads the way with Tijali, Chip Reese that is, running second. Stumpferstraber in third. Rick James brings it in fourth place with Lucky 7 in fifth. Mini Dan in sixth position, and then we've got Ridge Wader in seventh. Pete Snow is in eighth. Jay in ninth place. 10th is Sturdad. E-Tunes in 11th with Tristan Metcalf in 12th. 13th is Nathan Hoyle, and Lucky Alpha brings up the rear in 14th. And we've got 9 runners this evening for this Academy race sponsored by eteamhard.com. There we go. That's simple. Just waiting for the last wait for, I think, just E-Tunes and Jay to get checked in, and then we can get cracking with the qualifying for the feature race. It's today we're at the Dragon Trail Seaside, which is the home, as you well know, of the infamous chicane of death. You can take it flat out in these GR4 Caymans, but your line has to be absolutely spot on. My recommendation is, if you're not sure, just let off the gas a little bit. If in doubt, slow it down. I know it doesn't rhyme, but it means a lot, because if you hit the wall here, big trouble coming your way. There can be a lot of damage if you do crack that wall going through the chain, and we'll do an onboard once qualifying starts, and we'll see just the kind of pace that these guys are putting out. So we are pretty much ready to go. Just wait for the last couple to check in. Obviously E-Tunes needs to get checked in, as does our glorious host Jay. So there we go. E-Tunes now checked in. Room settings all changed. Jay will get everything underway pretty much now. Hopefully. TikTok. I didn't plan on a long speech before we got cracking. I'm certainly not hoping for one anyway. It can only be better than it was last time out at Barcelona. It was that look. There's no way to dress it up. The sprint race at Barcelona last time out a couple of weeks back was absolute carnage. The one saving grace I think here is that, other than the chicane of death, there's not many turns that can cause that same kind of carnage as turn 1 at Barcelona can. And hopefully, touch wood, and there's plenty of it around, everyone learnt their lesson from the shenanigans last week, and we can get on with some proper racing. So just waiting for qualifying. I don't know what the delay is, but I'm sure there's there's a standard reason for it. Just waiting for qualifying to begin. I think originally we were expecting 10. Just 9 have shown up. We've got Rick James, we've got Stumpferstraber, Mini Dan's out there, Nathan Hoyle, Arco 9009, Sturdad, Jay, Chip Reese, and E-Tunes. They're all in the Cayman GT4 Club Sport, sponsoring the Team Hard livery. This is the Academy division of the WSR Porsche Cup, and it's season 5 coming at you live from Croatia, Dragon Trail. So just waiting for the immortal words of qualifying is about to begin. Everyone's starting to ready up, and we can get cracking, and we can have a quick look around this track and see how things are going. Good luck to all the Black Flag drivers competing this evening. Obviously Jay in this lobby here. We've got Avalon Bandit, we've got Fubar. Then we've got in the top split, we've got Stormfly, we've got Wiggy, we've got Slipstream, and yeah, good luck to everybody, and hopefully, hopefully they can come through unscathed this time. Right, shall we jump in once qualifying begins? Right, in we go. So, qualifying is about to start. Let's get up some information so we can see where everyone drops in. I do want to get rid of this because I think it's horrible. Actually, I'm probably going to need it because all the cars are identical. It's going to be very difficult to pick up a car. We'll leave it on. I was going to turn it off, but we'll leave it on. So, Sturford, first one out. Arco follows him. Sturdad next out. Mini Dan, Rick James, Nathan Hoyle, Chip Reese, and Jay himself. The best lap time is going to be achieved if you can get a little bit of slipstream to help you, particularly through the very long section that heads down the hill towards the very, very big, very hard right-hand switchback, which then leads you into, of course, the chicane of death. And we are ready to go, and we're going to do an on-board with... let's go on board with Sturford as he is... at the head of the pack here. Excuse me. Let's get out of the way. Right, that's done. That's dusted. It's out of the way. I do want to cover that up for the time being. Everyone's going to be on racing soft to start off. We don't need to know that information. We will have a look periodically throughout the race how people are doing on fuel and tyres throughout this race. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be tight. There's a few good drivers out there. And I think it's going to be about keeping the car out of the walls is key, especially through the chicane of death. You can go flat through there, but my recommendation is, at this level, if you just lift going through there, to make sure you get the rotation in the car to get through there safely. And of course, if you're following someone, don't be a dick and try and overtake them there. It just can't be done. Right, so here we go. You head up the hill. Let's do it from behind the car like that. Get a much better view. Across the line you go, and you head up towards turn one. The first turn, it's not really a turn because you're still flat out, so we're not going to call this turn one. It's a kink. This is turn one. It's a left-hander, and you're looking for that 100-meter board on those brakes. Stay wide, turning clip as much more at apex because then you can get on the power much earlier. You can drift very wide on the power as you come through in this Cayman, heading further, climbing up the hill. Round here you go. You don't have to lift to get it turned in. Then you hit your braking zone right there. Again, clipping the apex to the right-hand side and using all the road as you come out. Now you start to drop down under the Larini Bridge, and you head down and flick round to your right-hand side, ready to line the car up just for a little lift, little touch of brakes, just to get it turned in there. And then that turn, you need to get that turn right, because you get it right, and then it is flat all the way down this hill. And this is where, if you've got some slipstream, you can really pick up some time. Staying to this left-hand side as you get to the bottom, to this hairpin, 100-meter board, get on those brakes, leave it to the last minute before you turn in. Then you can power back through and head into this what is the trickiest section of this racetrack. Flick it over this curb, you can take all of this curb, you can take all of this curb. This is where you just want to lift, just a touch, get it turned, back on the power, through the chicane of death, and you are alive. There's two dangers there, of course. There's the danger on the inside of the chicane of death and going a little bit too wide on the outside. Final turn, absolutely key to get this bang on right. Loads of apex there. Then you can get on that power early and start your acceleration a bit further down. You want to start the acceleration as far back down that hill as you can, so this good run up to the start finish line. And there we go. That's the first time on the board from Sturford, and that is a pole position time of a 1:47.1. So not a bad start. Arco alongside on row one with a 47.3. I expect that I think there are, in terms of qualifying time, I think there's a 42 out there. There's definitely a 1:42 out there somewhere. I don't know whether they get it or not. I think probably actually in these GR4s it might be a little bit of an ask for a 42, but 47, low 47, high 46s maybe for qualifying. So Mini Dan puts himself on that front row. That's a 47.2. Arco with his 47.3 down to row 2. That's a good lap from Jay with a 47.7. Repping for the black flag there in 4th. Rick James with a 47.8 is alongside Sturdad on row 3. And they're also sub 48. Then we go into the 48 runners. Nathan Hoyle, 48.7 for him on row 4 alongside E-Tunes with a 51.5. There's certainly loads more to do there at the moment. Just being held up a little bit, Mini Dan behind him. So Mini Dan finding a way to fight his way through. And Chip Reese, not set a lap as yet. He's going to get one laid down as soon as possible. He's on his out lap right now. The last thing you want is to be in heavy traffic like this when you are qualifying. Chip Reese just needs to back off a little bit, let these cars go a little bit out of the road so he's not getting tangled up with them when he starts his hot lap. About half the time left, so there's enough time for 5 solid hot laps here on the soft compound tyre that you can really chuck in. There's no tyre wear, there's no fuel wear, you don't have to worry about pitting, changing out the tyres, dropping the fuel off the tank. Just crack on with chucking those laps out. Arco puts himself on pole. Does he go sub 47? Yes, he does. That's a 46.7. That is a very, very good lap in this Cayman. Have we got a 46.5 on the cards from anybody? Can anybody go sub 46 even? I've seen it done. I don't know if these guys have got that kind of pace in the Cayman at the moment, particularly as it's quite heavy as well, full of fuel. So Arco is almost half a second quicker than anybody else. Sharing that front row with Stumpfer, Strauber, so the 2 German drivers, 1-2 at the moment. Mini Dan from the United Kingdom and Jay also from the United Kingdom. Lockout row 2. Rick James and Sturdad for the United States, locking out row 3. Nathan Hoyle from the north of England is there in 7th on row 4 with E-Tunes from the United States and bringing up the rear. Chip Reese, although he hasn't yet set a hot lap, so we're going to get a representative time from him very, very soon. But at the moment, it's the German drivers really dominating this racetrack and laying down the gauntlet for everybody else. Remember, it is going to be 16 laps here for the feature race. Once the feature race is done, they take the top 10. Well, I'll say the top 10. There's only 9 here. So essentially, we reverse this grid, and then that is your running order for the sprint race. Bit disappointed in the lack of numbers. I'm going to be brutally honest. Getting less than 10 in any sort of championship competition would suggest to me you probably need a little bit of a juggle with the groups. So whether that be that you move some up from this group into one of the other groups, so keep the lobbies full. That's the way you want to kind of operate. Or drive some people in. There must be someone out there that wants to race this Cayman. Drive some people in and fill these spaces. So Chip Reese does improve his lot by 1 position, moves up to row 4 alongside Nathan Hoyle with his first hot lap. No one's beaten Arco just yet. He's not only did he put himself on pole, he's gone and improved that time by about 500ths of a second. So giving himself a little bit. No, it is. You're right. It's tough without TC on. I don't know. I literally don't drive anything without TC apart from the 4-wheel drives, because you don't need it in those. But I suppose it's good practice for later down the line. But they're saying that, you know, it's a freaking simulator, man, and people are going to drive it the way they want to drive it. I happen to know there are people that use TC that are just as quick as people who don't. It's not the effect of TC on the pace of cars on GT7 is vastly different from the effect of TC was on GT Sport. It doesn't really have the same effect. You can be just as quick as those without TC with traction control. And let's face it, there are a lot of racing cars that have traction control. But you know, it's the rules is the rules, and we follow the rules, and we do's what we do's. Those all racing in the high division, they're all racing without TC. So no reason why these guys shouldn't try and get used to it, I suppose. It can only make you better as a driver, can't it? It gives you better throttle control. But at the moment, Arco just getting faster and faster. That 46.5 is the fastest lap thus far. Can he go sub 46.5? At the moment, no one else seems to be able to kind of follow him with that phenomenal pace. He's half a second quicker than Sturdad, who now puts himself on that front row. There he is, Sturdad, with a 47.0. Nobody, bar Arco, has gone sub 47 as yet, although Sturdad has just gone purple in Sector 1. Is it Sector 1? Yeah, I think it was Sector 1, wasn't it? Yeah, Sector 1. He's heading down. We'll see if he's still purple in Sector 2. This is the final lap of qualifying. So if you want to put in a better time, now is the time to do it. You're not going to get another opportunity to set your starting position. And you want to get a good starting position here. He's still purple. That's 109.4 going through Sector 2. Is he going to steal pole from Arco right here at the dying depths of this qualifying session here at the Dragon Trail at Seaside? Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Well, I do. Let's see if these guys do. Sturdad into the last corner, making his way up the hill now towards that start-finish line. Is he purple? Can he knock Arco off of pole? He heads towards the line. He crosses the line, and it is not pole position. He does go sub 47, but not quite enough to knock Arco off of his perch. He does cut the gap down to just 0.08 of a second, but not quite enough. So Arco is your pole sitter. Sturdad in second, joining him on that front row. Stumpfer Strollbar, the other German driver, with Mini Dan. He's called Mini Dan because he's very, 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 very small, and he sits on a little cushion to drive. He is on row 2 with Stumpfer Strollbar. Rick James. His name is actually Rick James. Not really more you can say about that. He is with Jay on row 3. 47. 5 and a 47.7 respectively. Nathan Hoyle of E-Team Hard, or F as they're more affectionately known by their friends. He's we'll go for it in a minute. Yeah, let's bring it up. There we go. We can bring it up properly. So Nathan Hoyle, he is on row 4. He's got Chip Reese for company, both with 148.2 and a 148.8. And unfortunately for E-Tunes, he's all on his own on page number 2. And there he is, 151.551. Is Rick James a super freak? I don't know, is he? He's not super fast, if he is a super freak. I'll tell you who is fast. Arco, that's really, really quick. Didn't give me a sub 46.5 though, so I'm very, very disappointed in Arco. So yes, very, very disappointing from him to not give me a sub 46.5 as I thought he might. Right, there we go. So 10-minute qualification is done. You can see there. It's really annoying that when they've qualified, the thing this screen changes, and it's really bloody annoying. And I'm not making 2 lobby pages just for when it qualifies. I did try, and it's a pain in the arse to manage, so I'm not going to keep doing it. I think PD should change for my benefit and not the other way around. I suppose I could make this entire thing ready for qualifying and just have a piece in there that I could remove, but that would involve some level of actually giving a shit. And as you well know, I really don't. So we are ready to go. It's going to be 16 juicy laps of action around here. Plenty of spots for overtaking. The final corner, great spot to overtake. Turn 1. There's certainly some overtaking opportunity in there. And then up into turns 4 and 5 before you go down the hill. Obviously with the slipstream going down that hill. Shall I tell you where you don't overtake? In the chicane of death. Do not try and overtake in the chicane of death, you absolute muppet. I'm sure nobody will try it, but let's just warn you in advance. Don't do that. And also, in the turn 1, just be careful. So here we are gonna go. Everyone's ready. The lights will go on, and we will get cracking. Let's go on board with Ricky James. Right, that's 3. That's 4. That's 5 lights. What happens when they go out, Herb? I'll tell you. We will be racing, and we are racing here at I forgot where we were. Dragon Trail, Seaside, and Sturdale with a great start. Rick James, what is going on there? That was insane. I don't know if anyone saw that, but Arco disappeared and then immediately reappeared. No, there's something very wrong with Arco's connection. Very, very wrong with Arco's connection. What the hell is going on with that? You can all see this, right? Arco is having some severe connection problems. That needs to get sorted out with immediate effect because it's going to affect all the other drivers around. Sturdad in second position. Look, we don't know what's going on. Sturdad loses control there. What the hell is going on? So Arco, you need, it says Chip Reese is in the lead. We can't be sure that this information is correct because Arco's connection is absolutely woeful. He should be leaving the lobby, in all honesty. If his connection is that bad, he shouldn't be racing. Full stop. There should be a kind of minimum ping level or minimum connection level for anybody racing online. But according to what I can see, let's call it as I see it. Chip Reese leads the way, although very, very wide there. It's unraceable. It's certainly unbroadcastable like this. Absolutely unbroadcastable. You haven't got a clue what is going on. Arco could be absolutely anywhere on this track, and I don't know what it's like for these guys driving because I don't know if they can see Arco, where Arco is, or what it's kind of showing them about Arco's driving. Because if they can see what I can see, it must be so off-putting, and really, really shouldn't be going ahead like it is. Arco disappearing off again. Let's forget about him. Right, Mini Dan. Mini Dan is in the lead of this race. He leads from Chip Reese. Good overtake there into the final corner. Chip Reese running in second. Stumpfer Strober is running third with Sturdad in fourth place. McDonald's connection boy Arco is in fifth. Rick James into the pits, and I'm assuming that was, I don't know what that's for. Let's have a look. That's to repair some damage to the front and the rear, the front aerodynamics and rear suspension repair for him. So Mini Dan leading the way. Now he has shown some phenomenal pace actually lately. Chip Reese in second position, holding out well again, wide through that section. That's the second time he's gone wide through there. This time he loses out. Stumpfer Strauber, Sturdad, and McDonald's connection boy Arco all through. He's up into fourth place now, Arco, although you can't be sure with the shocking quality of his connection. E-Tunes is down in 8th place. He's 15 seconds clear of Rick James, who we saw diving into the pits to do some repairs. Shall we have a look at tyres, shall we? Shall we have a look? So, back of the pack, that is Rick James right there. He's on the medium compound tyres. E-Tunes running also on those mediums. 10 seconds back from Jay. Didn't have the greatest, we're on lap 2, so you know we've still got plenty of racing to go. But with all that carnage with Arco, very, very difficult to know what the hell was going on. And if I were him, I probably done what he did, just stay the hell out of the way. He's also starting on those medium compound tyres. Nathan Hoyle started on the mediums. He's got a little bit of damage on the front there, which will be affecting him to a certain extent. Chip Reese just ahead of him, just half a second ahead. Also on the medium compound tyres. Who was that wide? That, of course, it's T-Mobile Wi-Fi connection. It's stealing the. Look at that. Awful, isn't it? Look at that. Somebody is stealing their neighbour's really rubbish internet connection. There he is, Arco. Oh look, he's going in a straight line and he's not disappearing. Oh, there he is again. It's nuts, absolute nuts. Stumpfer Strauber, he's in third place as Arco reappears from the shadow realm. Maybe what happened is on lap 1 he hit the chicane of death so hard that he's actually gone to the shadow realm and just randomly appears sometimes on the stream for our viewing pleasure. Sturdad in second position, and Mini Dan in first. And I've got to be brutally honest, it's a fucking joke, isn't it? It's an absolute joke. What am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to take this seriously? Genuinely, am I supposed to take this seriously? I'm not going to, because well, you can see for yourself. There are people in there that can't even have a stable internet connection to do a race. But Mini Dan leads the way. Was that a helicopter or was that Arco? Who knows? It could be. Look, that could be Arco for all we know. Flying over the rest of the Caymans. Mini Dan leading the way. Here we are, lap 3 through the chicane of death. Sturdad sticking with him. Really, really close racing from these two. We can see here just how close Sturdad is. He gets a great run out of that chicane of death, side by side with Mini Dan up to this final corner. With the braking, he's on the inside. Can he hold that inside line? Yes. Now he's on the power and off he goes. He's taken the lead. Good move there from the American driver Sturdad. That drops Mini Dan down to 2nd position. Stumferstraubel running in 3rd place, and he's right up behind Mini Dan. Is he going to get a run on Mini Dan now as well? It looks like Mini Dan's going to lose a couple of places in a couple of corners. He's got the out. He's going to have the outside line going into essentially turn 1, the big braking zone. But he might, if he gets a decent run out here. No, he doesn't. I think if he held it firm around the outside into the turn, he could have got a better run on the inside for the second part of that turn. Does he get a little run on him here? Can he close that gap? Because he lost quite a bit of time going through there, to be fair. So can he close that gap now? Because Mini Dan is stuck right in the slipstream of Sturdad. We're going to bypass the internet connection warrior behind, go straight to Chip Reese. Chip Reese is 4.5 seconds behind Wi-Fi boy from Germany. He's in Germany, but his Wi-Fi is in Mongolia. Chip Reese is running in 5th place. He's 4.1 seconds behind our original pole sitter Arco. 3.84 seconds, let's say, ahead of Nathan Horse. He's got a nice little comfortable gap on the racetrack to concentrate. And again, he takes a very wide line through that corner. Doesn't really hug that apex, which means that his exit speed's always going to be compromised coming through there. Empty hotshot killer. I'm not being funny. The room actually says on the top, private, invite only. You clearly weren't invited, so get out of the fucking lobby, you bellend. 6th place, Nathan Hoyle from Team Hard. He is 4.7 behind Chip Reese. He's in a similar position to Chip Reese, actually, in that he's got a nice bit of a gap around him at the moment. No real challenge from anyone either way. Can kind of just settle into this race on those medium compound tyres. He does have that little bit of damage, though, which may be affecting his pace a little bit. Super J. It looks like lap 3 wasn't the greatest of laps for him, a 57.2, so he lost a bit of time there. 150 is the. I mean, it's not a bad time on the medium tyres. Bearing in mind that I think you could probably get a little bit quicker, but he's settling into this race now. So I think we'll find that the pace will come when we hit those soft compound tyres a little bit further down the line. Lap 5 of 16 here in the feature race. Ricky James of the United States. He's settled in now. He did go into the pit, so he was running behind E-Tunes. But he's now 15 seconds behind Jay. Clearly, as everybody else is on those medium compound tyres. And 15 seconds back to E-Tunes. They're not just any tunes, they're E-Tunes. He's 16.7 seconds back. He's got significant damage across the front of the vehicle, but no engine damage, so no yellowy flags. I don't know why I've got the pit window thing open, because it doesn't really matter. Pit window, you can go to pits whenever you like. So we know what everyone's running. Stumferstraubel is the fastest man on the track with a 1:47.6. That's not far off qualifying time, to be fair. Doing well up there in 2nd place currently. There is Sturdad. Mini Dad's lost a couple of places. He's down to 4th, but Sturdad now just opening up a little bit of a gap. Now he is running on the soft compound tyre. Everybody else, I think, other than Stumferstraubel and I'll say Arco. I don't spend too long on him because every time I go on him, he just like flicks around like a madman. So Sturdad, Stumferstraubel, Arco, they're all on the soft compound tyre. Mini Dan, everyone back from there on the mediums. So there is going to be a little bit of a pace discrepancy early on, and of course I understand they've got to run 2 compounds, so at some stage these guys are going to have to go on the less grippy tyres, and they're not really significantly pulling away to make these particular tyres as a starting tyre that worthwhile. Sturdad does lead though by 1.3 seconds, just dropping off that challenge of the German driver behind him, Stumpfer Strauber. He now has internet connection with Arco, the IT wizard, just 6/10 behind him. Let's see if we can make him fly. It looks like his internet connection might have stabled out, so whatever dodgy cat videos he was downloading, maybe he stopped doing that, or kicked everybody else off the in-store Wi-Fi. Mini Dan, 4 seconds back from that grenade. He was hanging on, but that bit of damage on the front is going to be affecting his pace a little bit, and of course he's on the medium tyres. Pretty solid low 49s, other than the last lap, which was a low 1 minute 50, which is not a bad plod along pace on those medium tyres, but it's giving up about 2 seconds a lap at the moment to those soft tyre front runners, so you want to be getting on those softs as quickly as possible. Nathan Hoyle, he's back in 5th place. The gap to Mini Dan's opening right out, but Chip Reese is closing a little. 3.9 seconds Chip Reese has got that gap down to. Just want to check at the back, see how far away E-Tunes is. E-Tunes really getting dropped now, 27 seconds back. He's in real danger of being lapped in this 16 lap race, especially with that damage on the front, both front and left and right front suspension and front aerodynamics carrying some damage. Chip Reese dives into the pits. That will see Rick James come through and take 7th. There he goes, and Chip Reese into the pits. He's getting rid of some medium tyres. He's going to get rid of that. Did he get rid of it? Oh, he did. He did get rid of the medium tyres. Put on some warm softs. No, he didn't. And repair that damage. He's going to start to see some pace from Chip Reese now. He's going to start to work his way through the field. That's responding to the misses. A 6th position there is Jay. This is a nice solid performance. He had a bad lap 3, which cost him about 7.5 seconds. But now settling into a good mid 49s, low 50s rhythm on those medium tyres. He's got a bit of damage which he must have picked up on lap 3. He's going to want to get in and get that repaired. Those soft tyres should go to the end of the race from this point, I would have thought. I can't see that they won't last. I mean, I'm looking at the tyres for Sturdad, for Strauber. They're all in relatively, you can see here, there you go, relatively a good condition after 7 laps. So medium tyre runners, get your ass into the pits and get those soft compound tyres on. Remember, as Arco, he could be on the grass, he could be on the track, he could be in space, he might even be in this lobby for all we know. That connection's just woeful. Sort it out, son. Sturdad still holds the lead of this race, but not for long, because through comes Stumpfer Strauber, and he's being followed through by Arco, Internet Boy. He's actually tucked in behind Sturdad. Did he hit him? I don't know. You can't tell, because 1 minute he's here, then he's there, he's here, he's there, he's every bloody where. But the computer says he's running in 3rd. So at the moment, Sturdad's sandwiched between 2 German drivers, rampaging across Europe. And we know what happened the last time some Germans did that. Didn't work out too well, did it? Mini Dan running in 4th place, 6.2 seconds behind Arco. Probably smartly staying out of the way of the crazy internet connection. 28 seconds is the gap back to Rick James. Rick James, who has stayed out, of course. You can see he was on those medium compound tyres. He did pit really early on to repair some damage, but he's stayed out since that point. Nathan Hoyle, he's now on the soft tyres. Jay on the softs. Chip Reese on the softs. E-Tunes, he's still out there, 32 seconds back. He's got some repairs to do. I think it's time to go in, get those repairs done, get some fresh tyres on E-Tunes, and start to see if you can close that gap on these higher up runners. We're going to watch Jay for a bit, because Jay is currently about 3 seconds ahead of Chip Reese. It'll be interesting to see how is that going to stack up now he's on those soft compound tyres. No worries, PT, no worries. It's not me you have to apologise to. It is what it is. To be fair, you could have got caught in the craziness of the Arco crazy internet connection. And he's in the pits, and actually it's the first time he's actually stayed still. And you look at the state of his car, but you don't know whether that's because he's actually crashed or if because his internet connection is so woeful. There's no livery left on that car. You generally couldn't tell if his car was pink or silver. And back to the lag. Whoever in his house is watching 19 different Netflix films at the same time, it's clearly tethered to their phone, 3G phone connection. That's the only explanation for that. Or he's playing on a tiny little TV with an extension lead in the local McDonald's. Stumfelstrauer, German driver, in the lead. He's still on those soft compound tyres. Probably a couple of laps left on those. Can certainly, I think, he's putting in still a decent pace. Mid 47s, just dropping out to the mid 48s last couple of laps. Sturdad, he's dropped right out. So mid 47s for him. Arco did put in the fastest lap of the race, but you can't be sure how much of that is him and how much of that is lag. He could have lagged halfway around the lap, and you also have to question the qualifying as to whether how legitimate that was with the dodgy internet connection. So in goes Stumfelstrauer and Sturdad. And to be honest, I don't think they needed to go in this soon. Those softer tyres are clearly the much better option around here. You can, on those soft tyres, when you've got a bit of clear air, you can go flat through the chicane of death. You can't really do that on the medium compound tyres. You don't have that extra little bit of grip. So I'm surprised they didn't stay on them that little while longer, because surely you'd want to maximise your time on those soft compound tyres. Does that promote Minidan to the lead? Well, it certainly closes the gap significantly. And Minidan now on those soft tyres. Now I'm pretty sure. Now he was on the medium compounds before. He's now running the softs. Stumfelstrauer, Sturdad, they'll be on the mediums. Arco will be on the medium tyres as well. So Minidan doesn't come through in the lead. Stumfelstrauer stays out. Now it's key to see what sort of laps he can chuck in now on those medium compound tyres. Can him and Sturdad maintain that kind of pace that they were doing even towards the end of the life of those soft compound tyres in that kind of mid 48s? Or are they going to start dropping out into the 1 minute 50s? Because if they do, you're going to find Minidan, who, to be fair, he did a 151 there on those racing softs, so he does need to improve that. But we'll soon find out after this lap what his true pace is like on those softs. Jittery Arco. Did he crash? Who knows? Nobody knows. But I can tell you what's all over the track. Cover Weber. All over the track. I think we're going to ignore Arco from now on because it was just a shower of shit, for want of a better expression. So Nathan Hoyle with a 148.7. So significant improvement in pace on those soft compound tyres for him. But I think anyone sort of outside that top four at the minute really needs to be putting in mid 47s if they want to be challenging Stumpfer, Sturdad, and crazy Arco in fourth place. There's Jay, 49.4 was his last lap. That's medium tyre pace. It just needs to increase that a little bit. Looks to be going pretty racy through the chicane of death. Then around the final corner, we'll see what sort of time he's put in. Of course, just straight after this, the grid will be reversed. So if it stays as it is, Stumfelstrauer will be at the back of the pack, and we'll see eTunes leading the way from pole position in the sprint. And that's a 47.9. Now, that's the sort of pace you want to see. Minidan's chucking in 46.9s. That's pretty damn quick, but let's be fair, Minidan's been relatively racy throughout this tournament thus far. So he's got a bit of pace as Minidan, which is demonstrated in the fastest lap of the 146.9. Who was that in a wall? That was Nathan Hoyle. Nathan Hoyle lost his car.
You can't park that there, mate.
And you can't park that there, mate. But he is out of the wall. But he's lost 2 places. Jay up to 5th. Chip Race. That's his new name. Chip Race is up to 6th. And Nathan Hoyle drops to 7th. Bit of damage on the front. It's nothing significant. He should be able to race to the end. He will be giving up a couple of tenths, but at the moment 4.2 ahead of Rick James. Pace-wise, Rick James looking a little bit faster though, 47.2 his last lap. That was about 1.5 seconds quicker than Nathan's best offering thus far. Eachins at the back of the pack there, 1 minute 21 seconds, and he's got Mini Dan coming round to lap him. So Stumper Stralber and Sturdad just up ahead, and behind him there is little Mini Dan. There's your race leader, Stumper Stralber, 2.2 seconds clear. And those he did get a good enough lead on those soft compound tyres early on to allow him to stay ahead on the mediums, as did Sturdad. The gap back to Mini Dan at the moment, 7.4 seconds. There are 5 laps remaining, but let's put this in perspective. Mini Dan has done 146.9, 151.5 being stuck behind the back markers. So that's significant, because that's cost him nearly 4 seconds a lap, being stuck behind a blue flag black back marker. Lost the ability to speak. Sturdad's last lap 49.9, which isn't too shabby on those mediums. 48.1 for Stumper's Travel. So they continue with that pace. If Mini Dan can't keep it in that sub 47 zone, which he needs to do for the rest of this race, then I think without a crash, Stumper's Travel and Sturdad will finish 1-2. Not necessarily in that order, it could be the other way around, but definitely 1-2. Jay up to 5th. Chip Reed's got through as well with Nathan Hoyle. Put his car into a wall. He decided that he didn't like the way he was going. He decided to find another route around. Turned out there was a wall there, and he has to go one way because that's the only way they're allowed to go. He's 16.9 ahead of Rick James. Rick James had a massive problem that last lap. 159.5. So somewhere in that lap he crashed. And this is the big thing that is really standing out. It's the lack of consistency among all of these drivers. If you look at, the drivers out front, not too bad. And the reason they're out in front is because their laps are relatively consistent. You know, they're not chucking in the 46.9s that Mini Dan's been chucking in. But, you know, there's only 7 tenths, 8 tenths between their fastest and the slowest lap over a period of time. And Arco into the pits again. Maybe he lagged in there, who knows, he may well not be in the pits at all. Sturdad, again, relatively consistent, although he's been a little bit erratic since he changed onto those medium tyres. And you can see there is significant damage to the front there now, which is costing him plenty of time. 7.8 seconds, in fact, is the gap to Stumper Stralber. Mini Dan is still chasing it down. He's settled into the 51.5s. So that damage he's got is costing him. He's not going to be able to close the 11 seconds on the leader without putting in more consistent pace. Now, for me, you know, if you can do a 46.9 at full on flat out, why not back off and do a 47.5 and then do another 47.5, then do another 47.5, and then do maybe a 47.8? Because if you drive like that, you're more often than not going to be there or thereabouts. You can see it. The best way to see it, if you watch things like the World Cup that we do over the weekend, we did 2 of the broadcasts yesterday, and you'll see from that World Cup performance that the consistency is the key between winning and losing. You have to bear with me. I've got one to my door. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Despite a house full of people, I'm the only one that could answer the door. Yes, as I said, if you look at the guys that were winning there, the fastest laps weren't necessarily going to those guys out front, but what they were doing is every single lap was within 4, 5, 6 tenths of the previous 10 laps. And they continued that consistent pace, and that's what makes the difference in races. And you can see there, look, now Mini Dan is getting back down to this, look, the 40, what did I say, 47.5. Doing another one of them and another one of them, and he's past Sturdad. It's that simple. Jay up to 4th place. Arco went into the pits for a second time to put on the soft compound tyres. 16 seconds is how far back he is. But in all honesty, we haven't got an absolute clue where he is. He could be anywhere on this racetrack. And from the perspective of those driving, if what I'm seeing here and what you guys are seeing, watching this guy, is what they can see, you can't race with this guy because you don't know where you're going to be on. He's going to be on the racetrack at any given moment. And I'm sure that craziness at the beginning of the race probably was a factor in where some people are placed now, because anyone that was behind him was not thinking. It's like watching Dancing with the Stars. It's laughable, isn't it? It's almost like this is what this game would be like if it was programmed by a 5-year-old. But just for Arco, because clearly he doesn't deem any sort of proper internet connection any good. Right, so let's do a full rundown. We're on lap 13 of 16. There is E-Tunes with now see right there. You see it right there. You saw right there. Now E-Tunes must have seen what we can see with Arco, because he moved to get out of Arco's way, but had no idea where Arco was. So that's affecting E-Tunes as well now. It's ridiculous. Nathan Hoyle is back in 8th place. He's done an absolute mare since his crash. And Rick James has found his way ahead of him, 16.3 seconds up the road. 4.4 to Chip Reese. He's doing 51.8 was his last lap, but he's got some damage. Chip Reese ahead of him, also a little bit of damage, but he did a 49.9, so he's able to open up that gap. Apparently he's 11 seconds behind Arco. We have no idea where Arco really is, so let's just ignore that. Jay is the next target out the road. He's in 4th. He's 11.3 seconds outside that top 3. Now, Mini Dad's looking relatively racy in these final moments of this race. We're on lap 15 of 16, of course. His fastest lap was a 46.9, and he is right now up behind Sturdad. And Sturdad is what you do if you put your dad in your coffee. Mini Dad making that move. He's going to have much better grip going through this corner. But Sturdad going for a little switcheroo, and a little bit too deep for Mini Dan, and he couldn't make that move stick. So now he's going to have to tuck in and be held up behind Sturdad, going through the chicane of death. You can't go side by side through there. This is going to be another opportunity into the final turn. This time he can't allow that switcheroo to happen. He's got to make sure that if he's going to take the inside line, or going to go up the inside under braking, that he holds that inside line and doesn't allow Sturdad to come back at him. But Sturdad very, very smart there, and puts his car in all the places that Mini Dan wanted to go. It's going to have to be both pure on pace. Mini Dad is going to have that little bit more pace because he's got that little bit more coming out of the corners. Side by side they head towards turn 1. Mini Dad makes the move up into 2nd. Under braking, can Sturdad come back at him from the United States? Doesn't look like he can. Mini Dad's got himself up into 2nd place. But that just allows Stumfer-Strauber. He's 7.3 seconds clear. That allows him, he did exactly what he needed to do on those soft compound tyres, and just gave himself enough of a gap for those cars behind not to be able to catch. It helps that he was doing really, really solid. I mean, 48 ones on the medium compound tyres is really, really good pace. It's actually quicker than some of the laps he was doing on the softs. So the fact that he could chuck out those kind of laps on those medium tyres really helped keep him ahead. And that's what I mean about consistency. Look at that. Those laps since he pitted, if you take the last lap, which is a 56.66, the number of the beast, you take that out of the equation. 49.3, 49.7, 48.9, 48.1. At this kind of level, that's relatively consistent. And that's the kind of lap times that you need to churn out on a regular basis if you want to be in and amongst the top 3. Stumfer-Strauber, 7.4 seconds clear, and we're going to see him cross the line very, very soon. He will, of course, start the sprint race from 9th on the grid. So he rounds the final corner in this Team Hard Yazoo Porsche Cayman. Up he goes past the paddock and the pit lane, and he will cross the line here at Dragon Trail and take the win in this feature race, Stumpferstraber of Germany in first. Gap down to 5 seconds at the end. Sturdad from the United States coming home in second. Mini Dan, maximum effort from Mini Dan. He didn't hold on, he was ended up in third. Jay coming home in fourth, really close on Mini Dan towards the end there. So Mini Dan clearly had a problem, made a mistake, allowed Sturdad back through. Is Arco coming home in fifth? Who knows? It looks like he is. There we go, Arco home in fifth place. To be fair, he's in, he's in 5th, 6th, 9th, 12th, 15th and 71st. Chip Reese is home in 6th position. Good solid race from Chip Reese. Some good pace from him in the final stages of that race. Rick James managed to get ahead of Nathan Hoyle in the end. Nathan Hoyle had a big special Mooney, and that allowed Chip Reese and Jay to breeze through in the end. Nathan Hoyle is actually just about to lap E-Tunes, and I think it's a gentlemanly thing to do to not lap him now when they cross the lines. E-Tunes going to cross the line first. He comes home in 9th. 8th is Nathan Hoyle, and we're done. We're done. And then there were 9. So just 9 runners. 9 runners started. 9 runners finished. 8 of them drove, and Arco flew everywhere. There was a time when we weren't sure if he was the actual helicopter, because he did fly quite significantly. So there we go. Congratulations to your winner, Stumpferstraber. Is it Straube or Schraube? It's Straube, isn't it? Stumpferstraber. Stumpferstraber of Germany takes the win. Just to confirm the full classified lineup. There it is, in case anyone needs it. It's Stumpferstraber in the Cayman. Everyone's in the Cayman, so ridiculous. He takes the win over Sturdad of the United States. Mini Dan and Jay of the United Kingdom, 3rd and 4th. Fastest lap going to Neil Mini Dan. Arco came home in 5th, 6th, 9th, 12th, 71st, 104th, 1st. And in the previous race as well. He was in 5th. His internet connection, unfortunately, still hasn't finished. Chip Reese from the United States and Rick James, also from the United States, are home in 6th and 7th. 8th was Nathan Hoyle, and in 9th place was E-Tunes. 1 second penalty, I'm assuming that is for... 1 minute penalty. I'm assuming that is for not using the correct Mundo tyres, which is the 2 compounds. So there we go, done and dusted. 5-minute break, and then everybody will switch out their tyres and put on some softs, because it is sprint race time, and we all know what happens when these guys sprint a race. Last time out at Barcelona, it was essentially a Wreckfest 2.0. But we will find out. Can Arco convince McDonald's to let him hardwire in for the second race here, and just improve his internet connection somewhat, so those around him can also have some kind of rough idea where his car might be on the racetrack at any given moment? Would be quite useful. And obviously the people, you guys out there that are watching, so you've got some idea where his car is on the racetrack at any given moment. Always useful information to have. But when they return in a couple of minutes, it'll be after the 5-minute break. We'll reverse that grid, and it'll be E-Tunes on the front row, and Stumpferstraber, the winner last time out, will be at the very back. So we'll see drivers like Mini Dan, like Stumpfer, like Sturdad, like Jay. They'll be diving through the order, or trying to dive through the order as early as possible. And PT Snow is trying to join us for the sprint to make it 10. Tell you who else we'll see diving through the order. It'll be Arco, but he'll be diving forward and backwards. He'll go sideways a few times. He'll go up. He might even go underneath the racetrack and pop up somewhere else in another corner. Who knows where he's going to be? He is the master of disguise, the master of illusion. It's basically his audition for Wish You Were Here. Or Now You See Me. I can't remember what the film's called. Anyway, back in a couple of minutes. I hath returned from the realm of where Arco's car has disappeared to. I'm only joking. Hopefully, in this little break, you can sort out that internet connection. It's not fair on the drivers around it. It really isn't fair because I don't know how many of you out there have been in a situation where you've been on a racetrack with someone that lags that bad, and just how badly it affects your race. The most part being that you haven't got a clue where to overtake them, when to overtake them, where their car's going to be at any given moment. No idea, absolutely none. So from that aspect, it's very difficult. But also, it can be really off-putting to see this car just flying around all over the place and cause you to make mistakes that you might not ordinarily make. You might see this car heading towards you, think you're going to crash. Instinct's going to be to slam on the anchors, whether the ghosting's on or not, or to move or to swerve or do whatever. So we don't often have rules in place, I don't think, for people that lag that bad. But I think the general rule of thumb is if you're lagging that bad, you shouldn't be in a lobby anyway. You know your connection's bad. Or maybe it's like being stupid in that it doesn't affect you because you don't realise. It's just everyone around you is affected by it. And I want to be clear, I wasn't suggesting Arco was stupid. I was suggesting that having a bad internet connection is like being stupid. Anyone that makes the connection as doing the same thing, that's their problem. Anyway, room is being prepared for a new race. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new race for me. And it's 8 laps. Dum dum, dum dum, dum dum. Petey Snow made it, but he's back of the grid, along with Stumfer Schwalbar, and Manny Dan. Don't know why I'm trying to sing. It's awful, isn't it? It is basically like, you know, them people that do X Factor or like whatever they call it, America's Got Talent or that kind of thing, and they make like a montage of all the really shit people. That's essentially me when I sing. I'm all of those shit people in one go. Right, anyway, it's going to be a reverse grid. What's it going to look like? I hear you cry. Well, when they've all checked in, Jay can sort it out and put them in their correct positions. There'll be 10 runners. Why 10? I hear you cry. There was only 9 in the feature race because Peachy Snow has arrived to bring us some joy with his smile. We've got Stumfer Strab will be at the back of the pack with Peachy Snow. Joining them at the back will be Sturdad, who came in second. Millie Dan will be joining him on the second to last row. Can I remember where everyone else finished? Jay will be just ahead of them. Then it was Arco? Maybe Arco, don't know. We're not entirely sure where Arco finished. It could be where it said he finished. It could be anywhere. Then it'll be Chip Reese. I'm properly guessing here. Then I'm going to go Chip Reese, Rick James, Nathan Hoyle, and then Hitchens at the front. I think that's pretty much correct, there or thereabouts. I hope Jay's not listening to me and trusting that I got it right, because I haven't written it down. Mainly because I can't be bothered, among other reasons. I can't use the fact that I've got pen and pencil. I'm looking at a pen and pencil right now. I just can't be bothered to write down, or pick up my phone and look at what the information staring at me on the phone is. But yeah, we've got an 8-lap race to come, 8-lap sprint race. Now look, I'm really, really, really hoping it isn't. Okay. I'm hoping it isn't like it was at Barcelona last time out. It was an absolute clusterfuck last time out at Barcelona. I think we got 2.5 whole laps of racing last time out at Barcelona. The rest of the time was pretty much yellow flag, and I've got a yellow flag decal in case. Phil, do you know, I don't even think it's dial-up, mate. Do you know what I think it is? You know when like you're out and about and your Wi-Fi doesn't work, and one of your kids' Wi-Fi doesn't work, and they tether to your network connection on your mobile. I reckon that's what it is. I reckon he's tethered to his mobile a 3G connection, but it's not running on 3G. It's running, you know, when you lose your 3G signal and you get that really slow kind of almost dial-up kind of thing on your phone. I reckon that's what it is. Or he's sitting in his car with his PlayStation powered into the battery, getting a bit of free internet from the local McDonald's. Who knows? Who knows? Or it's a very, 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 very long lead. So his router is in Belgium, and he's run a very, very long lead to his house in Germany. Who knows? I can't even be sure that he isn't still racing, to be fair. Absolutely no idea where on the racetrack he is. Your guess is literally as good as mine. So grid is being set for the sprint race, which will be starting very, very shortly. Just waiting for a couple of things to change. I'm sure Jay is doing it now. So it'll be E-Tunes, Nathan Hoyle, Rick James, Chip Reese, Arco, Jay, Mini Dan. Then it'll be Sturdad, then for Strauber, then Pete Snow. So Sturdad just needs to bump up a little bit. So yeah, Sturdad up to in between Mini Dan and Stumpfer Schrauber. I've got to call him Strauber, that's not his name. It's Schrauber, Stumpfer Schrauber. Everything sounds so angry when you say it in a German accent. Stumpfer Schrauber. Sounds like you're really pissed off with somebody. I don't really speak German that well. Ich liebe dich. I think that means I love you. Could be. Listen. I am aware that I'm probably offending an entire nation with my very, very lazy thingies, and that's that grid is wrong. Stumfelschreiber should be at the him and Sturdad should essentially be ahead of Stumfelschreiber, but it's done now, isn't it? And let's face it. If last race is anything to go by, at some stage somebody is going to be in a wall and it's all going to go horribly wrong. Right, so shall we jump in and have a look and see what's occurring? Shall we do that? Yes, we shall. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's get that done. There we go, 5 lights and we are away. And what's the first thing we see? Is it going to be Arco flying through? There he comes. Here comes Arco on his internet. We don't know where he is or where he's going to finish up yet. He currently says he's in second, but he could be in 9th. He could be in 12th, or he could be in another racetrack entirely. In fact, it's so bad, Arco's lag there, right? He could actually be at Dragon Trail fucking Gardens, and we wouldn't have a freaking clue. I'm going to be brutally honest. If he wins this race with that awful internet connection, which I'm sure is affecting other people, you can see there, he's inside Nathan Hoyle. And I'm sure Nathan Hoyle hasn't been lubed up or bought dinner before he's done that. So, get out of Nathan Hoyle. Who knows? Who knows what effect that lag is having on everybody else around him. So, Nathan Hoyle does lead. Pete Snow up into second position. Mini Dan in third, I think. No. I don't know where Arco is. Let's ignore him. Let's say Mini Dan is third, because Arco is lagging all over the place yet again. Rick James running in fifth. Sturdad is up to sixth already. He's already making some big moves up that order. Great start from him. Jay down in seventh position. Stumpfer Strauber in eighth. E-Tunes, he's dropped way down the order already. He's in ninth. And Chippy Reese, little bit of damage, and he's made a little crease. He's in 10th position. So there we go. So Nathan Hoyle holding out well in the lead at the moment. Pete Snow in second. I'm not counting Arco at all in this race. It's absolutely a fucking shambles. Absolute fucking shambles. Rick James running in. It says fourth. He could be fourth. He could be third. He could be 12th. We don't know. Because we don't know where Arco is. Mini Dan in fifth. Into the pits goes Jay. That's to repair some damage. It looks like he was punted. Now, suggestion would be it was E-Tunes or probably Chip Reese, because Chip Reese is also coming in. So did Chip Reese and Jay have a little ding-dong? No engine damage, so of course no yellow flags. And eTunes has left the room. Why has eTunes left the room? Who knows? Maybe he's disappeared into Arco's Shadow Realm. So Nathan Hoyle still leads the way from who? Pete Snow, Arco, Mini Dan. Or we know Pete Snow's there. We know Mini Dan's there. We know Sturdad is there. We don't know what they can see in terms of Arco. And it would be interesting to speak to them afterwards and find out just how bad this is for them. Because, I mean, one could argue, is it just me? Well, I'm not having that problem with any other car, am I? It's only with Arco. So clearly the problem is with Arco. It's how badly it's affecting them. Mini Dan going almost sideways there, making the move on Rick James up into fourth. Looking pretty quick. He's got a bit of damage on the front there, though. Can he hold on with that? Stumfer Schraube, the winner in the feature race, back in seventh. He is behind Sturdad. Where is Mini Dan? Mini Dan's dropped down that order, so he's had a little ding-dong battle. That's hurt him. 3.8 seconds, he's dropped back down that order. Jay down in 8th, he had to go into the pits, as did Chip Reese. And we've lost eTunes from this race, who has had a disconnection. There we go. Lap 2 of 8. We're already almost at the same amount of laps we had in total of racing laps last time out of Barcelona. How's about that then? There is... don't know. Pete Snow up into second or maybe first. 1.4 seconds behind Nathan. Right, I want this on record. I'm going to put this on record. And I don't care if anyone's offended by this. If Arco comes through as winning this race, and these guys are experiencing the same kind of lag that I'm experiencing watching him, he should have the fucking result taken away from him, because this is unacceptable for everybody around him. It's clearly a problem with his connection, yeah, and he must. Yeah, and I'm not being funny. You'd know if your connection was that bad. You'd absolutely know, because you'd have some sort of feedback coming to you about a poor connection that was that bad. So you would absolutely know it was that bad. And I think if everybody else is seeing how bad this is, you can't race against him. You cannot race against a car that's lagging like that. So whatever position he gets, he shouldn't be allowed to keep. Because from our perspective, he's crashed, he's not crashed. He's on the track, he's not on the track. I don't know, no one knows what the hell is going on. You cannot race against him. Full stop. So these guys are at a distinct disadvantage. They cannot race him. There you go, I've said it, it's on record. I don't give a fuck who I offend with that. It's a joke. Absolute joke. Sort your fucking internet out. Pete Snow up to second place. He is 3 seconds ahead of Nathan Hoyle. 6.7 ahead of Rick James, who's 5.3 ahead of the winner in that feature race, Stumfer Schraube. He's got to repair that damage, though, so he's into the pits. That frees up Mini Dan to go on up the road. Does Sturdad come through? Hell yes, he does. Sturdad up to 6th. Jay up to 7th. Jay and Chip Reese had to go into the pits and repair early on. It may be that they had a coming together. Very difficult to see what was going on, obviously, with the Arco situation. Bypassing him completely, which you can't do because he still comes to shot when you look at any other driver out the front. There's Pete Snow, who, in my opinion, is winning this race. He's in the lead, Pete Snow, from Nathan Hoyle running in 3rd place. 4th is Rick James, or 3rd, depending on how you want to look at it. Mini Dan is just outside that top 3. There he comes, in 4th place. Just ignore what it says. I know it says 5th, but we're not counting Arco, because you can't race against someone with that kind of dodgy internet connection. Just can't be done. Sturdad running in 6th, or 5th. Jay running in 6th or 7th, depending on which way you're looking at. Chip Reese in 8th, and Stumfer Schraube showing as 9th position. It's awful though, isn't it? Absolutely awful. No real battles going on at the racetrack in a minute. Everyone's so spread out. We have got Jay putting a bit of pressure on Sturdad. Can he put him under? We're halfway through on this sprint race already. Good exit out of there, and he could be closing on the driver from the United States. What's going on up there? It looks like there's some movement. Mini Dan dropping down behind Rick James. Rick James up into the top 4, top 3, depending on whether you're counting Arco or not. Good exit out of here for Jay, and we could see him getting a run on Sturdad. 0.8 of a second. Chip Reese has disconnected. We've lost Chip Reese from this room. So in 5 laps, we've lost 2 people, eTunes and Chip Reese. I'm not going to put any judgment on the fact they were both running last when they left the room. It's amazing how many people get disconnected when they're running last. It's like your internet knows you've had enough. Arco's internet doesn't have a clue that everyone's had enough. Just carrying on with its own business. It's essentially internet on cocaine. His internet has found the stash of LSD. And here we go, Jay getting a good run on Sturdad to try and take 6th place. Round the outside. Now this is where you've got to be careful. The brakes there. Little bit wide. It's going to cost him. Needs to get his car back under control. And just went too hot trying to go round the outside of Sturdad there. Really not the place to make that move. He could and probably should have. Just stuck with him through that section and would have got a lovely run and slipstream here. And this is where he could have made the overtake down the bottom of the hill. A little bit impatient with trying to make that overtake a little bit too early. But, you know, he had a good run on him. Certainly worth making that move. But round the outside there, just unless you can pull him really, really tightly, it's a difficult move to make. There's Pete Snow, and he's overtaking Arco. Or is he? Who knows? Arco's going to reappear. Ba-ching! He could reappear anywhere on the track at any given moment. There we go. And it's Arco Potter. Arco Potter and the disappearing race car. It's a fucking joke. I wonder if Pete Snow can see this. Is it as bad for Chip? Is it as bad for you in the race as it is for me watching it? Can you see what I can see with Arco? Can you guys actually see what's going on with him? Because it's nuts. It's unraceable. And there's no way, there is absolutely nowhere on earth that Arco doesn't know his internet connection is that strict, that shit. So everyone can see Arco dancing around like a nutter. So essentially it's affecting everybody's race, isn't it? Because nobody knows where he is at any given moment. You can't make an overtake in case he reappears. He disappears, he comes back, he disappears again. No, it's nuts. It's a joke. I'm calling WSR. This guy's got to get it's a fucking travesty. It's a travesty if this guy gets any points for this race today, this Arco. You can't tell me he doesn't know his internet connection's that bad. Absolutely no way he doesn't fucking know. I'm calling it. And if it pisses you off, I don't give a fuck. Because this is absolute fucking farce. He shouldn't have even been allowed in the fucking lobby. Right, so as far as I'm concerned, Pete Snow leads this race from Nathan Hoyle. The thing is, you can't tell whether Chip, you can't tell whether he pushed his way through or whether his car just kind of found its way through. It's impossible to know. No one knows where he is on the racetrack. There he is. There he is again. Right, Pete Snow leads from Nathan Hoyle. Nathan Hoyle is 7.3 seconds back. It's 4.4 to Rick James, who's running in 3rd position. There's Arco again. Woohoo! 5th. 4th place is Mini Dan. Now, do you know what? You know my feelings on it, Chip. Usually when someone quits out, I'm just like, what? It's a fucking joke. But in this scenario, with Arco being like this, I'm surprised that all fucking 9 people didn't quit out and just leave him there on his own. It's ridiculous. It's unraceable. Genuinely, we have no idea if that first race was genuine, because anyone that was stuck behind Arco could never know whether to overtake him or not, or where he was on the racetrack. So we don't know if there was any genuine pace in there, if Arco was involved in any of the accidents, if Arco was involved in anyone that got out in front and built those kind of gaps. You just don't, no way of knowing. So this result really is a kind of pointless result. Minidad running in 4th position. He is 15 seconds outside that top 3. Arco Potter and the disappearing Porsche. It's the next one in the series. He's 35 years old and he's just taken a job back at Hogwarts teaching defence of the dark arts. Yeah, do you know what, Chip? You're right. I mean, the driving standards from some of these guys in here is fucking woeful. Brutally honest, it's fucking woeful. And you know, I know that WSR have tried to do something about the quality of them, but the fact of the matter is that some of these just haven't got a fucking clue. Have not got a fucking clue about anything. You know what? What's the point? What's the point? I know that a few of the Black Flag guys have been unhappy with, and it's not just. I mean, the academy's bad, but it's not just the academy. There's a driver who will remain nameless in one of the other divisions who acts as though he has some sort of God-given right to be wherever he wants to be on the racetrack at any given time. And I know that a few guys are unhappy about that as well. And apparently because he's quite good, he's allowed to be let go. But we'll see. We will see. To be fair, if any of my guys complain about him again today, I will fucking call him out on YouTube. I don't give a fuck. It really doesn't concern me. Right, Jay is in 8th place, but it's actually in 7th. But it's difficult to know where anyone actually is because, to be fair, this result means nothing because Arco is essentially all over the place. Petey Snow does cross the line in the lead, or was it Arco, or was it Nathan? Who knows? Arco didn't win this fucking race in the slightest. Petey Snow did. Nathan Hall is 2nd, Rick James is 3rd, Mini Dan in 4th, and I don't care what Arco says. If he comes to me and tries to tell me he didn't know his internet connection was bad, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I've done enough broadcasts to know that you know when your internet connection is like that. Mini Dan will come home if he can stay ahead of Sturdad, that is, because they are racing to the line. Mini Dan does make it home in 4th, 5th for Sturdad. It will be 6th for Stumpfer Schrauber, although I have a feeling there's going to be 1 or 2 steward inquiries aimed that way. And in 8th place will be J49, who I can guarantee you will be swearing on the chat to me in about 5 minutes when the stream's done. So there we go. I've got to say, it's throwing up some very, very interesting things, this Academy division. What can I say? But congratulations not to him, he didn't win. You can't bring your McDonald's fucking Wi-Fi to a race, fucking up everybody else's race and expect to take the win, in my eyes. There we go. Anyway, other than, to be fair, for the most part, other than the ridiculous lag, for the most part, again, the feature race was all right, and some pretty. There was a couple of questionable decisions, but for the most part, it was okay. The thing that I think messed this race up the most was Arco Potter and the disappearing Porsche. Make of it what you will. Anyway, it's Sunday evening. Who cares? We are done. We are dusted for another week on Black Flag Racing TV. Coming up tomorrow, it's the return of the GR4 Open Series. We are where? I think we're here. I think actually we are here at Dragon Trail. We are here at Dragon Trail tomorrow. That'll be interesting racing the GR4. Same for the GR3 on Wednesday. Tuesday we've got some action from Smoking Pirellis in Formula 1 and a little F2 tournament for LNR in their mid-season break. Also, the guys will be doing some qualification for endurance racing. That won't be broadcast though. A lucky 7. You really wish you didn't, mate. It was ridiculous. Unless you were prepared to share your internet connection with Arco, then you really wish you didn't. Yeah, so Wednesday, obviously, we've got the GR3. Thursday, more F1 action with Smoking Pirellis. And we've got Gauntlet. Gauntlet returns, hopefully this time with a few more people involved. Gauntlet returns, of course, on Thursday. Friday, we've got a little bit of Eurotrips F1. Before we return to, of course, the World Cup action with the GTC for Saturday night, Sunday morning. It's been a bumper week here at Black Flag Racing Towers, but I'm going to sign off now. We are done. I've been Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV. We have been live with some WSR Academy action, and what can only be described as the trailer for Arco Potter and the disappearing Porsche, or the Arco Potter and the absolutely dog shit internet connection, depending on what part of the world you're in. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been emotional.
Decision sets in. One that will churn your skin. The love is right. Let them have their time.